Ho, 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 everybody. I'm Boiny Claus. I'm going to give you all single payer. And I really mean it this time. Ho, ho, ho. I'm Boiny Claus. Conservatives don't like me because they think I'm a socialist. That's right, I am a socialist. A dirty socialist. A socialist is going to make your life better. Ho, ho, ho. I'm Boiny Claus. That was fun. Well, I am Adrian Benavides, the Smartass Analyst, and welcome to another edition of A Word from the Wise Ass. I am broadcasting here live from the 713, which is Houston, Texas. And I was watching a couple hours ago, I was watching a live video from David Denton. Good friend of mine, fellow truther, and he's been live streaming a lot more, and a couple of other people I know have been trying to live stream more. And I said, well, I'll try to live stream more, because I think we should. I know I said in my last live stream that our community is, was, there was plenty of us, but there was only a handful of people. It was only a small, like 2 or 3 people live streaming and spreading the truth. And since then, though, we've gone, and those first few people, or at least 2 of them anyway, ended up signing out for good because they felt like they weren't being heard. They felt like they weren't influencing. They were hoping that people like us would start live streaming ourselves and start spreading the word and having discussions about what's really going on in this country and what's really going on in society. So anyway, since those couple of people inspired a handful of people, and those inspired more people, and that's why we're and a lot of us have been kicked out, a lot of us have been censored, but I see the truth community like a hydra. They try cutting off one of our heads, and several more grow back in its place. And we can't be stopped, because we will not be stopped, and we will not be silenced. Okay, now that being said, getting back to my topic, on my topic of this live stream. I was having a conversation with David Denton, and he was bringing it up. He was talking about, and I've heard a couple of truthers talking about this. Apparently, there's some videos going around of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez dancing on a rooftop. Back when she was in college. Because I never did weird things when I was in college. I mean, none of us did. We were saints in college, weren't we? Haha. Okay. So that's okay. They, so they're trying to they're trying to spread the word that Cortez is unqualified because she danced on a rooftop when she was in college. Big fucking deal. So what? Is she unqualified because she danced on a rooftop? No, no, that doesn't make her unqualified. What makes her unqualified is that she supports corruption. She supports corruption. I can't support her. I won't support her. I won't support her. I don't care. I don't care if she danced on a rooftop when she was younger. I don't care. It's like Donald Trump. I don't care if he's orange. I don't care if his hands were tiny or if he wears bad toupees. I don't care. What I care about is he actually making any positive change? As a president, if anything, he's a distraction. He's a sideshow. If you're going to criticize somebody, criticize them for the right reasons. So I wanted to talk about control opposition as a distraction, or rather, control opposition in the form of distraction. Michelle Obama is another name that comes to mind. You mentioned Michelle Obama, and what happens, as an example, Michelle Obama. You mentioned Michelle Obama, and people are right away going to be split in half. Half the people are going to say, well, Michelle Obama was a dirty socialist, and so was her husband, and they were black militants and radicals, and then and then there's also going to be the latest thing with Obama. I don't know where this came from, but the latest thing was that she used to be a man, and it's like when did this suddenly become a qualification for for leadership? No. That person can't be a leader because she has an Adam's apple. I don't care. I don't care about that shit. Michelle Obama's like Michelle. You know why I don't like Michelle Obama? I don't like Michelle Obama because her. She defended her husband, who drone bombed. Was it 8 different countries? At least 8 different countries, and killed innocent people. Of course, it was on the other side of the world, so that makes it okay. It was to defend our freedom. Defend our freedom from what? Defend our freedom from what? I mean, the only thing they're defending Afghanistan. The only thing we're defending Afghanistan is poppy fields. They go out to Afghanistan and defend the poppy fields. So anyone trying to take control of the poppy fields, well, those are the real terrorists. Poppy fields. So we go and we take control of Afghanistan's poppy supply, and then suddenly we have the nerve to say, oh my God, there's an opioid crisis. Where did this come from? We got a lot of nerve. We got a lot of fucking nerve. We really do. But and Michelle, and Michelle Obama is like, and the latest thing with her is she and her husband are going around on tour, and they were like making speeches, and people were paying like $4,000 a ticket. $4,000 a ticket. And she was wearing like $4,000 boots. She shows up for a speech wearing $4,000 boots studded with diamonds and God knows what else. The the blood of African miners. I mean, for all we know, but obviously, this is not, she and people were like, oh, we love Michelle Obama. She came from, she's one of us. She came from, she's not one of us. She doesn't represent me. She didn't grow up in my neighborhood. Anyone who did grow up in my neighborhood, who now, toured the country, charging $4,000 a ticket, and wearing $4,000, diamond-studded boots, I wouldn't consider them part of my community. So that's the kind. So those are the kind of things that we should be criticizing. These public figures, we should be criticizing them for being hypocrites, and for being warmongers, and for being liars. Elizabeth Warren especially. Elizabeth Warren, people were praising her, and I was one of them because I was part of I was part of the Democrat, Democrat pages and Democrat groups and stuff. And so I was like right with them going, yeah, go Liz, go. And then I realized that everything she was saying was, so because I heard, because we kept hearing her saying, that the people think the system is rigged against them, and they're right, the system is rigged against them. So she acknowledged it, and she knew it. But she didn't say she was actually going to do anything about it. See? See how it works? It's the sleight of hand. It's the Flim Flam Act. It's like, we gotta stop falling for this shit. And we gotta stop letting other people, media especially, or anyone who gets their information from, media, mainstream media, is specifically what I mean. Well, and most media is mainstream media. Even so-called alternative media is mainstream media. Young Turks, NPR, PBS, that's all mainstream too. It's all establishment. All of it. So they're like going to tell us what we should be outraged about. And they're going to tell us why we shouldn't like somebody. You shouldn't like Trump because he's orange. You shouldn't like Trump because, he says sexist things and racist things, and because, he has bad toupees, I don't care about that. If someone says racist or sexist things, I'm not going to support them. If someone does racist or sexist things, I'm not going to support them. And personally, I think doing is a lot worse than saying. I'm not in any way defending any of these people, because they're all scum. They're all lowlifes. All of them, every last one of them. It's like, someone says, let's go find an honest politician. I said, you're going to have better luck finding an original copy of the Beatles' Butcher album cover. You'll find one of those. You'll find like 100 of those before you find an honest politician. That's just how it is. Honest politician, because and actually there are honest politicians. There are some politicians who will tell you up front what they plan to do. You won't like it. You won't, they'll screw you, but they'll be honest about it. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing, that's necessarily better. But, politicians are they're pawns. They're They're pawns. They're pawns used by the corporate elite, by corporations, elitists, to get what they want. And these politicians are, every last one of them, they're all like, they're figureheads. And Trump is a figurehead. He's the biggest figurehead of all because he's the president. But that's all they are. It's figureheads. They have no real power. So it's when you're in the truth community, you hear a lot of people talk about controlled opposition. And there's different levels of controlled opposition. There's different levels of it. And what, controlled opposition to a lot of people means that, it's, they make someone look bad to make someone, or someone, they make someone look bad to make someone else look good. Kind of like that. That's part of it. That's part of it. It's a lot more to it than that, though. It runs a lot deeper than that. It's basically what control opposition is what happened. What happens is that let's look at Bernie Sanders. I would say he is the number one bona fide definition of control opposition. And as much as I dislike Hillary or Liz Warren or AOC or any of those traitors, that's what they are. I don't like any of them, but I always felt, ever since I stopped supporting him, I realized that Bernie Sanders was the most dangerous of all. He was the most dangerous of all because people listen to him. That's what makes him dangerous. People listen to him. And the control opposition for him is, you have people supporting him saying that he's the candidate of the people, and of course guys like me are saying, "Oh, give me a break," I'm not, I heard that one before, and we know how that ended. We know where that went, where that led us, and we're not falling for it again. A lot of us are not falling for it again. But now you have people on the other side, you have people on the right side, conservatives, who are, they're also criticizing Bernie Sanders, and you think, okay, well, I don't like Bernie Sanders, they don't like Bernie Sanders, we should probably, this is something we should agree on, but I don't agree with why they criticize Bernie Sanders. They call him a dirty socialist who wants to give away free stuff to everybody, and doesn't care about the budget, doesn't care about basically a liberal communist hippie. That's how they want to portray Bernie Sanders. And I always scratch my head, like, why do they do that? It's like Bernie Sanders was never that guy. He was never that guy. He never pretended to be that guy. Why are conservatives suddenly, and why do they care? Why do they care about Bernie Sanders' political ideology? Why do they care so much? I mean, the guy's a joke. I wouldn't listen to him. I wouldn't follow him. But then these conservatives come along and start saying he's a dirty communist. Well, what's the next thing that happens? If a conservative goes around calling a politician a dirty communist, what's the next thing that's going to happen? What's the same thing that always happens? Bernie Sanders is a dirty communist. What comes next? What comes next? That's when the liberals come in and say, no, Bernie Sanders is not a dirty communist. Bernie Sanders is a man of the people. And so they start rallying people on their side, and conservatives start rallying people against Bernie, and liberals start rallying more people with Bernie, and just blow the whole thing up and make him a hero all over again. And it's taken me this long to realize that when that kind of thing happens, it's not a coincidence. It's by design. Of course it's by design. Why do I think it's by design? Because it happens that way every single fucking time. Every time. Every time. You know? It's like Bernie Sanders, you know, after the primaries, he just kind of went, you know, nobody cared about him, you know, who cares, Bernie, yada yada, whatever. And then, that's when the right came in, and, well, we didn't like Bernie Sanders anyway because he was a dirty communist, and, oh, well, he's not a dirty communist, he was going to do this and all these wonderful things, and, you know, and it turns to this, and then suddenly everybody's talking about Bernie Sanders again. That's how it works. That's how it works. That's how you make the irrelevant relevant by criticizing it for the wrong reasons. You know, you criticize Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez because she danced on a rooftop, and someone on the left is going to say, oh, you know, there's nothing wrong with dancing on a rooftop, and then the next thing you know, there's going to be a whole social media explosion of people dancing on rooftops to show solidarity with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. You know, I'm kidding about this, but who knows? This could happen. You know, stranger things have happened. You know, so, you know, and so what I'm saying is that these little theatric shows, which is really, you know, they're just it's just theatrics. It's theatrics. That's all it is, and it's going to keep happening. It's going to keep happening. You know, the left and the right work together and they brainstorm and say, okay, what can we say about this guy that, or what can the right say about this Democratic candidate that will rally liberals behind them, you know, or what can liberals say about this Republican candidate that will rally conservatives behind them. And that's how the game is played. And that's how that's what sucks us back in and draws us back in to that world of, oh, well, I support the Democrats because, you know, yada yada. I support the Republicans because yada yada. You know, it's a whole, it's like the Jets and the Sharks in West Side Story. The Jets and the Sharks, you know, snapping their fingers and dancing around and, you know, singing about how badass they are. And, you know, and they're both just gangs of thugs. They're gangs of thugs who cause trouble. And, you know, and make the streets unsafe for the rest of us. You know? I don't want to be a Jet. I don't want to be a Shark. I just want to live my life. And I don't want to participate. This turf war that keeps happening. I mean, the next presidential election isn't until 2020, and already people are rallying behind candidates, you know. And there's so many names being thrown in there. You don't hear a lot about the Republican side right now. Mostly it's the Democrats. You know, it's like, you know, 4 years ago there was the whole like Republican clown car, you know, running, you know, the whole Republican clown car that, you know, suddenly got narrowed down to Trump. You know, it's like how Trump got picked out of all those other guys. You know, I'm sure it had nothing to do with all the free media coverage that he got, but that's another topic. But for there was a joke. There was a running joke about the Republican clown car. Well, now the Democrats have a clown car. When they have their first debate, there's going to be more people on stage than there will be in the audience. You know, it's like everybody wants to throw their hat in the ring. Everybody does. And it could be that the solidarity that they had with Hillary Clinton in the 2016 election, that's gone. And so now all these other people are being thrown in to the possibility of because I think people know that Hillary's not going to beat Trump. If she runs again in 2020, she's not going to beat Trump. She's going to try. I'm sure she is. But she's not going to beat Trump. And so they're kind of opening up these different possibilities of, well, what about this person? What about that person? What about this other person? What about Beto? Beto, hombre! Vale, Beto! Beto! O'Rourke! Grew up in El Paso. Or a rich family. Married a billionaire. And now people think that he's one of us. No, he's not. He's not one of me. He's not. He didn't grow up in my neighborhood. Same thing I'd say about any of them. And any of these politicians, they're just politicians are. Joe Walsh, from the Eagles, he wrote a song that said, "The funny thing about democracy is a vote for me is a vote for me." That's the problem with representative government is there is no real representation. The representation is on an honor system. We trust these people to represent us, and we just assume that they represent us. We assume they do. We don't know for a fact that they do, but we assume. Because, that's what they're elected to do. When things don't get done, well, it must be the president's fault. Or it must be this person or that person, or whoever gets all the negative media coverage. It's got to be their fault. So the point of this entire live stream, 3 hours later, the point is that control opposition is always going to be there. It's always going to come to play. And even when you consciously decided that you just don't want to play anymore. You don't want to be involved. You don't want to play the game anymore. You're done. You're done. You're done participating in the system. And you're done, putting your faith in people who don't really care about you. You're done. And then it happens. The control opposition comes back into play. Back into play, like a little kitty, like a little friendly kitty. Meow, meow. I'm a cute little kitty. Come play with me. Meow, meow. You pet the little kitty. Oh, you look so cute. I'm gonna take you home, and as soon as you get the kitty home, he bites your hand off. That's what voting is like, and that's what political act. That's what that's what politics is like. To get involved in the politics, that's what that's like. So it's like if we can just break free from that illusion, the illusion that politics, that, you know, our lives depend on politicians, our lives depend on government, you know, as long as we keep making ourselves dependent on these things, you know, they're going to keep controlling us. And they keep controlling us by bringing in this controlled opposition. Controlled opposition. It's everywhere. And there's different forms of it. But the most common form of controlled opposition is distraction. Distraction. You know, let's criticize Obama because he's black. Let's criticize Obama because he, you know, may not have been born in this country. You know, let's criticize Obama for all these little bullshit reasons. So that someone else can come along and say, oh, no, none of those things are true. And, oh, you know, Obama's a good man. And we, you know, since we don't believe that Obama was born in Kenya, we're going to say, we're going to come to his defense, aren't we? You know, I did. I was right there I was right there on his side saying, yeah, you know, he's, you know, leave Obama alone. He's a good man. You know, I didn't know any better. You know, but that's how it works. That's how it works. And that's how they keep reeling us back in. You know, they cast that line, they wait, and then as soon as they get a nibble, they reel it in. They reel us in. They reel us in. And next thing you know, there we are hanging from that hook. You know. Saying, hey, I made it to the surface. I tell you. It's, you know, in the analogy of the clown car, it's like, you know, it's like politics itself is a clown car, because they're just going to keep churning out personalities and people and issues, you know, mostly fake issues, because the only real issues are, you know, do people have what they need? Do people have the means to be self-sufficient? You know, can people eat? Can people drink the water? Can people breathe the air? Those are the important things. Those are the things that we should focus on. Not, you know, whether or not someone danced on a rooftop when they were in college, you know. Me personally, I never danced on a rooftop. I was hanging out the window when a tornado was coming by. I was like, hey, everybody, look at this tornado! It's true. Ask one of my college roommates, he'll tell you. Alright, I'm signing off now, and keep in mind that until next time, remember that being a smartass is a lot better than being a dumbass. Thank you.